Hey there guys, this is going to be our second example game using our Morbid Undying green-black deck. This is opening hand right here. It's pretty good. We have 1-drops, which is fantastic, especially when they're Fume Spitters as opposed to just Lifestaff. We also have 3 lands available to us, and 2 of those are forests. It's good, not great. It just means that we have opportunities. We still have both colors. We still won't miss our 1-drop on the Fume Spitter. So my opponent starts out with a Lawkeeper here, and I'm going to actually use, as you'll see here in a second, I'm actually going to decide to use the Fume Spitter to kill that off right away. Now, most times it comes down to it. You want to hold the Fume Spitters and use them when it's an opportunity for you to trigger the Morbid ability. I decided that I wanted to get rid of this Lawkeeper as soon as possible. When you're playing against a mono-white deck, a lot of times their only chances at removal are going to be the options like Journey to Nowhere and Oblivion Ring. But actually, the other options they have available to them, especially in casual, is to tap as opposed to kill. So if I can clear that off the board, it's more likely that my creatures later on, with the Morbid ability, when they're big and bad, will be able to get through and do damage. So kind of a lucky draw here. My opponent has put out a Sky Hunter, which is definitely troublesome because I don't have any defense against flying. But thankfully we did draw into a Diabolic Edict at this turn, so I am going to straight away kill that off. Plenty of opportunities for other plays there, but I really feel that getting rid of that flyer as soon as possible is the best move. I had an opportunity where he had no other creatures on the field, so the Diabolic Edict was definitely going to hit the creature I wanted. When you're playing against White Weenie, it's very easy for them to get other creatures out, so if he had had that Sky Hunter on the table and the Doom Traveler, it means he would be able to simply sacrifice his Traveler and he would be in an even better position because he would have 2 flyers. So, draw into a Rager right now, but I decided what I wanted to do instead was put out the Fume Spitter and the Lifestaff and throw down a Rot Farm. Hand was getting kind of small, so the Rager could have been a good opportunity right there, but I really wanted to just get that Fume Spitter into play, so I did have an opportunity. If I did draw a Boar on the next turn or Bear, I had the opportunity to get the Fume Spitter going as soon as possible. Next comes down Perilous Mirror, and this is a bit of a tricky thing because a lot of my creatures will fall within that 2 to 3 damage range. When the mirror dies, it does that extra damage, and that can be definitely troublesome, so you want to wait for an opportunity to kill it off on my terms. I'm going to let the damage come through from the Traveler, throw down another land, and now I'm going to actually attach the Lifestaff to the Fume Spitter and play the Rager. Lifestaff plus Fume Spitter is a great combination because it gives you an opportunity again to control when that creature dies and when gain life. Having these seemingly coincidental options in play under your control is great. You see, I'm still not going to attack through because if I attack through, I lose both the Fume Spitter and the Rager. I did an opportunity here if I wanted to sacrifice the Fume Spitter to kill the mirror just straight up and let him take the Rager. I decided that I was going to still wait for a better opportunity to deal with that. So next he puts down a Loyal Cathar. That's a great creature. I definitely feel it's kind of underutilized in the White Weenie decks. I'm drawn to another Fume Spitter, and I am going to start off by throwing down my second Phyrexian Rager. Draws it into an Evolving Wilds, and I'm going to still have mana available to me to put down the Fume Spitter as well as the Young Wolf. This puts me in a pretty good position to control combat. I'm most likely going to attack on the next turn at this time because the creature advantage is mine. I am going to lose quite a lot, but it'll also clear off his board as well. And depending on how he chooses to block and assign damage and whatnot, it gives me an opportunity to use either of these Fume Spitters to get rid of the 1/1 token that is generated by that flyer, that Traveler dying, the 1/1 flying token. So I decided to start off by cycling the Thicket and seeing what I could come up with. Since I drew into another land, I simply played the Evolving Wilds so that I can use it to continue to thin out my deck. At this point in time, I decided it was a good opportunity to attack. I have creatures that are willing to die in the Young Wolf and this Fume Spitter thanks to the Lifestaff, so I wanted to take my chances and clear off his board. He does have 2 creatures that will be coming back as a result of the Cathar and the Doom Traveler, but I'm going to be able to handle those things to things like Tragic Slip and the Fume Spitter. Let's see. It all comes down to, again, how he decides to block. If he blocked both Fume Spitters, then they would just instantly die. And they would be a trade-off, unless he, of course, used the Cathar on the Fume Spitter. But the Fume Spitters would die either way. By him not blocking one of these Fume Spitters, it gives me an opportunity to use this -1 ability for the token that is going to be generated when this Doom Traveler dies. So, after combat, let's resolve this all really quick. Sorry. So this is going to come across. These are all going to resolve right here. and that's all going to die. You see his one token came back, and I did decide to sacrifice my other Fume Spitter in order to kill that off. The Cathar is going to come back, but it does not come back right away. It comes back during the end step. So I am going to reattach the staff, but I do have an opportunity here for the Tragic Slip on this. It's now the Unhallowed Cathar, so I now have an opportunity to kill that right away, but I really don't feel the need to. Because this doesn't have the ability to block, it's not really troublesome to me. I can deal with it as I feel necessary. I also, at this point in time, he puts down a Suture Priest, and this I find much more troublesome. I do decide to kill this off. It's not so much the life gain that I really struggle with against that card. I really struggle with, especially in a deck like this that's so focused on creatures, that second ability that causes me to lose 1 life every time I cast a creature against my opponent. Now we have an opportunity here. Finally drawing into one of our Morbid creatures on the bear here. Going to swing through real quick with these guys. No opportunities yet to force the Morbid ability, but without a doubt it's going to come up sometime soon. So pass that through real quick. Next up, my opponent is putting down yet another Doom Traveler, and this is going to be something that is likely to die easy. It is something that he's probably going to use to either chump block the Wolf or the Rager. Either way, something is going to die at this opportunity. I put down the other young Wolf that I had just drawn, and decide to swing through. So when he does decide to block with the Rager, he knows that if he blocks the Wolf, it's going to come back bigger, and I gain life, so he's going to just jump block the Rager, but that does give me the opportunity. I'm now going to be able to put this bear into play. The 1/1 flyer is going to be a little bit troublesome, but at this point in time, I feel like the game is definitely in my advantage when it comes to creatures. I am going to decide to put this bear down and target itself. The young wolf will lose both the young wolves actually will lose the ability for Undying if I give them the counters. So that gives me an opportunity for either one of these. They are both 2/2, and I decide that the bear is the best target to get the counters because it is already untapped. This is going to give me an opportunity to chump block and kill something. So down comes a second mirror. Again, troublesome, but I'm not at a point in time where it's going to really cause me to hesitate. At this point, I'm willing to sacrifice any creatures. You see he did attack there with his Cathar. I did decide to block it with my Wolf so it could activate that Undying ability and come back. Drawn to Altar's Reap, which is great because my hand is definitely struggling, so I am going to attack through with all of my creatures. He's now going to block. Had he blocked any creature but the bear, I would have, in response, used Altar's Reap to sacrifice it in order to keep the mirror alive. But because he used the mirror to block the bear, I really don't want to sacrifice my biggest creature on the field. So the mirror is going to die, and he is going to just use that in response to kill off a creature. So as he targets the Rager, I am going to use the opportunity to cast Altar's Reap and sacrifice it. Really doesn't matter, it's a good target. The creature was going to die anyways, so it allows me the opportunity to draw cards without sacrificing an additional creature. So unfortunately, you see I drew nothing but land off that. Definitely troublesome. And now my opponent puts his own life staff into play. This makes this little 2/1 a bit of a problem. He kind of debates over whether or not he should attack, and eventually does make the right choice and decides not to attack. I kind of screwed up here. I drew into Hunger of the Howlpack, so I had an opportunity to kind of force the Morbid. I could have, what I should have done here is attack with both of the young wolves. Then if he decided not to block, he would be at 2 life, and if he did decide to block, well, this wolf would come back, and either way it would trigger the Hunger of the Howlpack. Instead, I don't know what I was thinking. I decided to attack with the bear. I figured, hey, he's going to block it, so it's going to give me an opportunity to play the Hunger, because it's so big, and it is going to die, but he goes up to 3 life, and it's a little more troublesome. I'd see here I don't play it. I got really kind of stupid confused in this misplay here, because like I said, my intention was to attack with the wolves, and then I accidentally attacked with the bear. It still would have worked had I still played the Hunger, but I don't know. I had one of those dumb moments that are inevitable, and didn't play the Hunger. It's not really going to matter at this point in time because he is down to 7 life, and does not get a creature into play, but it is still a misplay. If this was any earlier, if he had more life, that would have been a more important move to make. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this, and definitely check out the other videos.